So students, today we are going to discuss the third lecture. In this lecture, we are going to discuss three main important topics. The first one is the water demand, and then what are the population prediction methods, and the last one is water distribution systems. So what is water demand basically? Water demand is the total quantity of water required by the entire population of a particular area. In any particular area, in any particular locality, we need water for existence, water for our daily purpose. So the total required amount of water in a particular locality is known as water demand. So the water demand depends upon several factors. The first one is the residential demand. What is the residential demand? The total amount of water required in the houses for washing, for bathing, and for different purpose. Then commercial demand. Commercial demand is the requirement of water for houses, for shops or commercial centers, malls. They also require water. Then third one is industrial demand. Industrial demand is the total quantity of water required in industries for various operations, for various purposes. Then firefighting demand. Firefighting demand is the quantity of water required in case fire occurs in a particular area. Suppose in a particular area fire occurs, then in order to extinguish the fire, we need water. So that requirement is firefighting demand. Then public use. There are several public places, for example parks, public toilets. They also require water. Then water lost. Some amount of the water supplied is always lost in the form of leakage, in the form of theft. So this also has to be kept in mind while taking the total water demand. Then some other factors are climatic conditions. For example, an area having a hot climate will require more water as compared to an area having cold climate. Then second one is geographic location. What is the geographical location of the area? If the area is located close to a water body, it naturally needs lesser water. Or if the area is on plain, in hot arid areas, in dry areas such as Rajasthan, they require more water. Then size, population and economic condition of the community. What is the total population of the community, of the people living there? What is their economic status? That also accounts for the total water demand of the area. Then extent of industrialization. What is the extent of industrialization? How many industries are there in that area? Because more and more industries, then more and more water would be required. Then metered water supply. Similar to the electric meters, there are water meters which calculate the amount of water used. So if there is metered water supply, then naturally the people are going to use that water judiciously. Then cost of water. If the cost of water per unit is more, then requirement will be automatically be less. Then the supply pressure. What is the pressure head in the pipe? That also accounts for the total water demand. Then in order to calculate the total quantity of water for municipal uses, or the total quantity of water on which we will design our water supply scheme, that basically depends upon two factors. One is the water consumption rate. What is this water consumption rate? Per capita demand of water in liters per day per head. That means a single person requires how much amount of water in liters in a day. That is water consumption rate. And the other one is population to be served. What is the total amount of population, total population of area which needs that water? So we need to know what is the exact population of that particular area in which we are going to supply water. Then there are some certain variations also in this demand. This water demand does not remain constant throughout the year, throughout the day and throughout the week. it varies. It varies with season, it varies with days of the week, it varies even with the different hours of the day. For example, seasonal variation. Naturally, all of us know that we need more water in summer season as compared to winter season. So there is variation based on season. Then daily variation. On daily basis, we require more water on holidays. On Sunday or some holiday when it comes, more water is required. Similarly, hourly variation. During the office going hour, which is basically around 8 am or 6 to 10 am, or the time when we come back, when people come back from offices, schools, colleges. So that time requires more water requirement. At that time, people require more water. So there is variation between different hours. Now, for example, in an Indian town, the requirement of water in various uses are given below. Say for domestic purpose, a particular area requires 135 liters per capita per day. For industrial uses, 40 liters per capita per day. Public use, 25 liters per capita per day. Fire demand, 15 liters per capita per day. And then losses, wastage and thefts, they require 55 liters per capita per day. Okay. So this is the overall requirement, different types of requirements in a particular area. If we sum them up, then we get around 270 liters per capita per day. That means in a single day, a single family or a single person requires 270 liters of water. So if we multiply this 270 liters per capita per day with the total population of the town, we will get the total water requirement of that particular town. Say for the population of the town is 1 lakh. So we will multiply this 270 into 1 lakh. We will get the total water demand of that town. Now there is a simple example to demonstrate how this variation occurs, or how do we calculate the exact amount of water demand, water requirement for different purposes. A water supply scheme has to be designed for a city having a population of 1 lakh. Then population is 1 lakh. Estimate the important kinds of drafts which may be required to be recorded for an average water consumption of 250 liters per capita per day. Average water consumption is 250 liters per capita per day, and the total population is 1 lakh. Also record the required capacities of the major components of the proposed waterworks systems for a city using a river as a source of supply. Assume suitable data where needed. Now, there are different types of requirements as we saw before. Since the variations are of 3 types, there is variation based on season, variation based on days of the week, variation based on hours of the day. First of all, we will calculate average daily draft. So this is the average daily draft. So average daily draft will be equal to per capita average consumption in liters per person per day into population. Average consumption is 250 liters per capita per day into 1 lakh. This will give you 25 MLD, 25 million liters per day. So this is the average daily demand or average daily draft. Then maximum daily draft. Maximum daily draft is what? It is assumed at 170% of average daily draft. The maximum demand, maximum water demand in a particular day is taken as 180% of the average daily demand. So average daily demand is 25 MLD. Taking 180% of this, we get 45 million liters per day. Then maximum hourly draft of the maximum day. Say for maximum consumption is on Sunday. Then on Sunday, the maximum hourly draft, that means the peak hour, say for at around 8 am, the maximum water demand is there at around 8 am or 10 am. then that maximum hourly demand, that is taken as 270% of the average daily draft. Okay, so this is around 67.5 million liters per day. Now we also require water for firefighting. So fire demand is taken by means of Cushing's formula. There are several more empirical formulas. This is simply a empirical formula. This is not based on some experimental results. This is empirical formula given by Cushing. So Q is equal to 3182 under root P, where P is the population in 1000. Q is the amount of water required in liters per minute. Q is the amount of water required in liters per minute, and population in 1000. So population is how much? Population is 1 lakh. So in 1000 it will be 100,000. So we took 100. Now this Q is coming out in liters per minute. Converting it into liters per day, we'll multiply it with 60 and then with 24. So it is 45.8 million liters per day. Now the coincident draft. Coincident draft means at a particular time, say for there is maximum daily demand plus some fire occurs, then this is the coincident draft. Fire will not occur always. It is going to occur occasionally, sometimes. So this combined draft, combined demand is known as coincident demand or coincident draft. So this is maximum daily draft, maximum daily demand. Maximum daily demand is 45 mld plus fire demand. Fire demand, according to Cushing's formula, it is coming out 45.8. So total is 90.8 mld. So if we see the maximum value in all these, see average daily draft is coming 25 mld, maximum daily draft 45 mld, maximum hourly draft 67.5 mld. If we see the maximum among these, this is the maximum one, maximum hourly draft. But if we consider fire demand, which has to be considered, so the maximum value is 90.8 mld. So instead of designing on this value 67.8 mld, we'll design on 90.8 mld. Okay. Now capacities of different components. Capacities of different components, how are we going to calculate the capacity or the discharge at which the intake structures have to be designed, the pipes have to be designed, the different units have to be designed. Now intake structure used for fetching water from river is designed for the maximum daily demand. Maximum daily demand was 45 mld. Maximum daily demand is 45 mld. So we will design our intake structure on the maximum daily demand, that is 45 mld. Then the main pipes used for transporting water from river to treatment plant and then to overhead tank is designed for the maximum daily demand. Okay. Intake structures are designed according to maximum daily demand. Main pipes are also designed according to maximum daily demand. Then filters and other units are designed for maximum daily demand plus some reserve. Okay. In case of emergency or in case of some occurrence, some fire demand occurs. So for that purpose, filters and the different units in the treatment plant, they are designed for twice the average demand, twice the average daily demand. Average daily demand is 25, so twice is coming out to be 50 mld. Similarly, the lift pumps are designed for twice average daily demand. Okay. Now this lift pump, the capacity of lift pumps is coming out to be 50 mld if they are operated throughout the day, that is 24 hours a day. Suppose we are not operating the pump throughout the day, but we are operating the pump say for only 6 hours, then it will not be 50 mld, it will be 24 by 6 into 50. So this is 200 million liters per day. Now the pumps have to be designed at this demand, 200 million liters per day. Suppose for pumps are operating for only 4 hours, then 24 by 4 into 50. That means 300 million liters per day. So this will depend upon the timing for which we are operating the pumps. We are operating throughout the day, or some part of the day, half the day, or 1/4 of the day. So that will vary. The pipes in the water distribution system are designed for maximum hourly draft or coincident draft, whichever is more. Pipes in the distribution system, they are designed according to the maximum of the two. Maximum of the two means either we'll see two drafts, two demands. Maximum hourly draft, in this case it is 67.5, and the coincident draft, it is 90.8 in this case. So maximum of these two, that is, for this case, maximum one is coincident draft, it is 90.8. So in the distribution system, pipes have to be designed for 90.8 MLD. Now, in order to predict the population of a particular area, we have different population prediction methods. There are several population prediction methods. Arithmetic increase method is there, geometric increase method, then incremental increase method. In addition to these, there are many more: decreased rate of growth method, graphical extension method, graphical comparison method, zoning method or master plan method, then ratio and correlation method, growth composition analysis method. So in the arithmetic increase method, we assume that the rate of growth of population from decade to decade is constant. Rate of growth of population from one decade to another decade is constant. That is, dp by dt is a constant equal to k. Now, data we get from the census data. Okay, we take census data of past 3-4 decades and then we calculate the average increment. This average increment into number of decades is added to the initial population. This will give the final population. So population after n decades is equal to initial population plus number of decades into I. I is the increment. In each decade, what is the increment? That is usually constant. Now, geometric increase method. In this geometric increase method, it is assumed that the percentage increase in population from decade to decade is constant. In arithmetic increase method, we are assuming that increase in population from one decade to another is constant. But in geometric increase method, we are assuming that percentage increase in population from one decade to another is constant. Okay, percentage increase in population. So this percentage increase in population will be increase upon population into 100. That's how we will calculate the percentage increase in population. So it is given by Pn is equal to P into 1 plus R to the power n. This R is the geometric mean, which we will calculate, we will see in the later slides by means of example. Then the third one is incremental increase method. Incremental increase method is basically a combination of arithmetic method and geometric increase method. Now, in this example, the population of 5 decades from 1950 to 1990 of a particular city are given below in table. Find out the population after 1, 2 and 3 decades beyond the last known decade. So data is given from 1950 to 1990. That means in 1950 population is 25,000, 1960 28,000, 1970 34,000, 1980 42,000, 1990 47,000. Now we have to calculate for the next 3 decades, that is 2000, 2010 and 2020. These are the 3 decades. So we have to calculate population in these 3 decades by means of arithmetic method, geometric method and incremental method. First of all, arithmetic mean method. So for arithmetic mean method, we will calculate increase in population. So increase in population from one decade to another. So 28,000 minus 25,000, this gives 3,000. Similarly, 34,000 minus 28,000, 6,000. So similarly, we get this increase in population. We calculate the total and then we take average. This average increase per decade. This average increase per decade into n plus initial population. So if we want to calculate population after first decade beyond 1990, that means population of year 2000, that will be equal to population in year 1990 plus n value is 1 into I is 5500. Similarly, we can calculate for 2010, it will be population in 1990 plus 2 into I. Population in 2020, population in 1990 plus 3 into I. So this is how we are going to calculate by means of arithmetic mean method. So similarly, in geometric mean method, the previous table will be same. One more column will be added for percentage increase in population, that is growth rate. So percentage increase in population is calculated by increase upon initial population. Increase upon population, that means 25,000 into 100. So this is equal to 12%. Similarly, we calculate the different percentage increase in population. Then we take the geometric mean of these. This is coming out to be 16.37. Geometric mean means nth root of these percentage increase. If the total data is 4, then 4th root. If the total number of data is 5, then 5th root of all these. First value into second into third into fourth and 4th root of this. So by means of this formula, p into 1 plus r to the power n, we are calculating it. R is coming out to be 16.37%. So this can be written as 0.1637. N for the first decade, n will be 1. For the second decade, n will be 2. For the third decade, n will be 3. Decade is a period of 10 years. 10-year period is known as decade. Then the third one is incremental increase method. In incremental increase method, we are calculating increase over the increment over the increase. That means, what is the increase here? Plus 3,000. Here is 3,000 and next one is 6,000. So what is the increment? Plus 3,000. 6,000 minus 3,000 is plus 3,000. Then their increment is 8,000 minus 6,000 plus 2,000. Here 5,000 minus 8,000 minus 3,000. So total is arithmetic sum, if we take, it is equal to 2,000 by taking their signs also. So it is 2,000, average value is 667. Now we are using simply, you can see this part p plus ni. This part is coming from the arithmetic mean method and this part is coming from the geometric mean method. So this is a combination of both. So p plus ni plus n into n plus 1 by 2 into y. I is a constant 5500, we calculate here, and then y we calculated here. Incremental increase is 667. Now n will change. N equal to 1 for 2000, 2 for 2010, 3 for 2020. So this is how we are going to calculate population by means of arithmetic method, geometric method and incremental increase method. Similarly, you can use this same question for calculating population by means of these 6 methods: decreased rate of growth method, graphical extension method, graphical comparison method, zoning method, ratio and correlation method, growth composition analysis method. Now, what are the different water distribution systems? Water distribution systems are basically of 3 types. The first one is gravity system, second one is the gravity and pump system, pumping system, and third one is pumping system. So what is gravity system? If the area where water has to be supplied is at a lower elevation as compared to the reservoir, storage reservoir or overhead tank. If the overhead tank is at a higher elevation and the area where the water has to be supplied is at a lower elevation, as you can see in this picture, the storage reservoir is at a higher elevation and the area or city where water has to be supplied is at a lower elevation. So we do not need any pump for transporting water from reservoir to the city, because simply by means of gravitational flow, water can be supplied to this city. So this is gravity system. Second one is combined gravity and pumping system. In those places where the city or the area where water has to be supplied is at a higher elevation as compared to the reservoir. This reservoir is at a lower elevation and the area where water has to be supplied is at a higher elevation. So now we need pump in order to pump the water to this storage tank, and then whenever required from this storage tank it can be supplied by means of gravity or pump. So here we are using gravity also and pump also. So this is combined gravity and pumping system. In places where the source of water supply is at a lower elevation as compared to water treatment plant and as compared to the area where water has to be supplied, only pumps have to be used for water supply. Now this is a short classwork for the students, and from this classwork it will be quite clear to you how we are going to calculate the population and how we are going to calculate the water demand of a particular area.